Francis' involvement in the rite nourished the debate above a judgment to grant Law a complete mains burial at St. Peter's Basilica in the Vatican. For the massive, axe box lay on a rug in front line of an sacrificial altar, flanked by sitting cardinals and bishops tiring white mitres. Francis sprinkled sacred water supply on the box and encircled it in frankincense, a proverb the bless after in the facility, Vatican Live video showed. The history was done in a famous cinema, Searchlight, and the fracas constrained the Roman Catholic chapel to reconsider the way it dealt in kid misuse in its midst. The event was a burial, not a court nor a judgment of Act's lifetime, the Vatican added. But critics include surveyed why the Pope of Rome, who has previous break in minutes while it suitable him, has not selected to do so in the instance. Francis done no refer of the sex abuse fracas in a telegram he shipped Environment to Sodano labeling the 86-year-old mains die. Gates of Hades Broad Outdoor Alexa McPherson, a home of the Boston region who says she is a surviving of sex misuse by a clergyman, answered crossly Environment. In his fleeting, I say I expect the gates of Hades are outdoor broad to greet him, since I sense no repayment for someone love him is worth, she said reporters. Robert Costello, else Boston area home, says how Law coded up for the clergy who offended him. Instead of creature taking into account a Vatican burial, Law should fair vanish, he said reporters in the Boston office space of lawyer Mitchell Garabedian, who represents Lot who blame priests of sex misuse. Cut him up and put weights on each chunk of flesh portion how he has and fall him in oceans about the planet, told Costello, 56. Costello added how he believed Pope of Rome Francis should include met in each solitary misuse sacrifice. Down there's not a solitary day how goes by how I don't recall which happened to me, he told. Law excited to Italy to be as protopriest of the Pontifical Liberia Basilica of St. Mary Main following he was constrained to abandon in 2002 as Metropolitan of Boston. He remained a Main. He apologized at the period to victims of John Geoghegan, a clergyman who had been excited of congregation to congregation, in spite Act's expertise of his misuse of youthful boys. Geoghegan was condemned in 2002 of obscene attack and sell on a 10-year-old little boy. Law never florid penal sanctions regime for his part in enabling offensive priests to stay in parishes. The fracas reverberated via the chapel, exhibiting such concoction world how discredited its ethical credibility and led to year of many millions-dollar settlements. O'Malley, chapel unsuccessful to thoroughness for family axe heir in Boston, Maine. Sean O'Malley, said a news story meeting Environment how the burial massive Law would get was which any Maine in Rome would be taking into account. But he as well apologized for the Roman Catholic chapel's history failings above sex misuse by priesthood. Maine Law serviced at a period while the chapel unsuccessful severely in its responsibilities to ensure ministerial thoroughness for her human beings, and in tragical outcomes unsuccessful to thoroughness for the family of our congregation communities. I deep pity how fact and its ensuing consequences, O'Malley told. He added how he did not trust who in Act's position would get such a top-profile assignment, as the protopriest of a basilica, in Rome present. The burial plans were announced, the survivors' web of such offended by priests had forced versus a festive attention on Act. We very question down there is a solitary sacrifice of misuse who will always get the identical focus, splendor and term by Pope of Rome Francis, the web told in a news story produced following Act's die.